was something much further.
Right. We have coyotes close to us, but we both heard something off in the distance.
There was a big moaning.
How? And it was like southwest.
There's a squatch within 2 miles of us. That was nothing other than a loud, long, moaning squatch. Yeah!
After spending nearly 10 days in Wolverine State, it was time for Blue Line RV Adventures to start making our trek back westward. Our first stop was in yet another Harvest Host location. This time it was in the parking lot of an Indian casino. Yes, you heard that right, a retired cop was spending the night in the parking lot of a casino, and I felt totally safe. Part of what we want to do here at Blue Line RV Adventures is to let you know what locations we found were safe and we would have no problem bringing our family to. So far, all the Harvest Host locations we stayed at were spot on, and we felt totally safe at each one, including the Black Bear Casino just outside of Duluth, Minnesota. The grounds were immaculate, and there was plenty of hotel casino security guards that were constantly patrolling the grounds, which made Karen and I both feel more safe here than we did at several of the campgrounds we'd stayed at. Next morning, we continued west across Minnesota towards our next stay, which was going to be another Harvest Host. Harvest Host is really becoming a big part of our traveling adventure, and if you're a moderate to heavy RV traveler, Karen and I would both strongly recommend that you join this amazing organization. But in between Duluth and the Forest Edge Winery that we stayed at, we happened upon the small little town of Reamer. Now, I'm a self-admitted sci-fi geek and love all things sci-fi, but I did not know that it was, well, maybe I should let you find out for yourself.
A local business owner went through extensive research to add a new title to the city of Reamer. On this week's Community Spotlight, our Chelsea Brown tells us it's a title that has some pretty big shoes to fill.
Along the town of Reamer, Minnesota, you'll find large silhouettes of the infamously known creature known as Bigfoot, as well as a possible life-size costume of the Sasquatch lurking the streets. And that's not, well, too out of the ordinary for this town. But something new coming to Reamer is that it will now be nationally known as the home of Bigfoot.
We figured, you know what, we need to name this as the home because we truly believe that this is the home of Bigfoot and that he spread from here to other parts of the country.
Fascinating.
Good morning, everybody. We are in north central Minnesota at, if I'm going to get the city right, I believe it's called LaPorte, Minnesota. And we are at the Forest Edge Winery, and we are staying at yet another Harvest Host. We are becoming huge fans of Harvest Host here at Blue Line RV Adventures. In fact, if you remember from a previous video we put up about maybe a month ago, it was talked about the first 3 Harvest Hosts we'd stayed at, but this is our first one at a winery. And we are, again, I'm going to show you the area here. We are in just really beautiful country. It is probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. I would say it is probably about 68, 69 degrees outside, which is extremely pleasant compared to where we started from, which was Phoenix, Arizona. And that is, at this point in early August, going through one of the hottest summers, if not the hottest summer they've had on record. It's very, very hot in the Phoenix metro area right now. I think the temperatures are around 110 yesterday, but it's definitely not that here. And I'm going to take you inside and show you just a little bit of the winery and where Matilda's parked at. But again, this is another perfect example of why Harvest Host is a great experience, and that if you can certainly afford a the small $79 a month. It's really going to be well worth the weight in gold. So walking up here through the entrance, and they have got some kind of vegetable garden or something going on over here. I'm not quite sure what they're growing over here. I don't think it has anything to do with the winery itself, because there are at least one, maybe even a couple of families that live on property. Winery itself is up this location. This is the way we took Matilda up. And while I'm walking up here, I might as well tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. We are actually going to go to Itasca Lake. And if anyone's from Minnesota or they know any history of the Mississippi River, you know that Itasca Lake is the headwaters of the Mississippi. So we're going to actually do that today. We're going to go up to the headwaters and take a short visit up there, and then we're going to continue our progression west. But yesterday, this is where we had our wine tasting. In fact, Karen and I were sitting at that table right there, and got several other tables out here. Setting is really beautiful, and if you can look just between those plants, that's Matilda, and it's literally about a 30-second walk. And one other thing about this area is we get a little bit deeper into the woods. Yesterday were in Remer, Minnesota. Could be pronounced Remer. I'm not sure if it's Remer or Remer, but they call that the home of Bigfoot. And apparently they've had Bigfoot sightings back here all the way back to the early 1800s is the way they describe it, or sometime during the 1800s. But as you can see, the woods here are very, very thick. So what do they say on, there used to be a Bigfoot Discovery Channel or something. It had a Bigfoot television series on, and every time they'd be interviewing these guys looking for Bigfoot, they'd go, "Well, it looks very squatchy in here." Well, these woods look very squatchy. Okay, we're gonna head back and get ready and go check out the Mississippi headwaters. So we are headed to Lake Itasca. Is it Itasca or Itasca?
No.
Itasca.
I don't know.
It's like yesterday we were in, is it Remer or Remer, Minnesota? Anyways, which is
I don't know. I mean, you have a friend that actually is from Remer.
Yes,
Remer. I'm going to say Remer, but
Ashley. Yes.
And we should probably ask her.
Yes.
Because
oh no, I'm sorry. Not is it? I know it's Amy. Yeah, Amy. Ashley's family was from Michigan.
Ashley's family's from Michigan.
Amy's family is from the Remer area or Remer area.
Yeah, we've had some really good resources that we were able to draw on from friends who are from some of the places that we visited, and so that's been kind of nice.
Yeah, it really has.
We're headed to blah blah blah. Tell us about it. So.
Yeah, it really has. We've posted up on Facebook or something like that. And that's kind of Facebook. If you haven't gone to Facebook yet and friended Blue Line RV Adventures, that kind of gives a little bit more real-time aspect of where we are. YouTube videos are probably about a month or 5 weeks behind. There's a delay in it for a lot of different reasons. But usually Facebook is pretty caught up. A little snickering over here. But Facebook is usually
Someone would rather Facebook than edit.
What do you mean?
Anyways, my Jim Carrey imitation. Anyways, but yeah, so Facebook's a little bit more real time, and Ashley and Amy have gotten to it and said, "Oh, we've got family in these areas." And they told us some things about what's going on. But this morning we found out, as I said earlier, we were driving and we drove over the Mississippi River, and it just kind of dawned on me that, in fact, where are we turning here? Turning left up here. Turning left at this rural road.
You are going to edit that out, right?
No, of course not. Of course I'm going to edit it out. But we drove over the Mississippi River, and I just kind of realized that, yeah, the Mississippi headwaters have got to be in this area. And then we found out during our wine tasting that it's only like about 20 or 30 minutes from where we're staying. So that's where we're headed right now, to Lake Itasca. And we're going to go check out the Mississippi headwaters.
I dare you to try to spell it.
So what?
Spell it.
Oh, spell it? I-T-A-S-C-A. I think it's just I-T-A-S-C-A, Itasca. What do I get if I'm right?
A donut.
Woohoo!
it's over 100 years old. Oh, it's 200 years old, right?
Yeah, but I wonder why I like it
it's not
as an
200 years old. It's
has an end date, though. The name Itasca was coined specifically from the Latin words Virtus Caput. Caput literally means the true head by Henry Rowe Schoolcraft in 1832, led by Windib and Ojibwe guide, which is an Indian tribe, who knew the upper reaches of the Mississippi River and its headwater lakes. Schoolcraft was able to document the true story of America's greatest river, a feat had eluded many previous explorers, including Zebulon Pike, Lewis Cass, and Biocom Beltrami. More than half the century passed before the surveyor Jacob V. Bauer, known today as the father of Itasca, began his efforts to establish the area as a state park. This is the headwaters of the Mississippi River, the longest river in the United States, and I believe it flows, I'm supposed to remember this, 2,552 miles from...
Are you sure?
No. Yes. I believe it's 2,500.
Correct it.
Yeah, I'll if it's incorrect, I'll put a little sign above the video.
And
but
if not, he'll give me a hard time.
Yes, but I believe it's 2,552 miles. But this is the headwaters of the Mississippi River right here. And this is way, way cool.
I feel like the pressure's on.
Karen, they want to know if they want to see this guy.
Watch somebody walk across.
Is it we want to see this guy cross or we want to see this guy fall? I've got my water shoes.
Are you gonna cross?
I am going to cross.
OMG.
Actually, it's not really cold.
You're gonna be a little wet. Do you ever?
I can say I have walked across the Mississippi River. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I did.
So this is the spot. This is where the water flows out of Lake Itasca, and this is the actual beginning right here of the Mississippi River. That is so, so cool. Okay, so it's 1,475 feet above the ocean, and it is 2,552 miles to the Gulf of Mexico. Yay!
So funny.
It's going.
Oh my goodness. Where are we doing? What are we doing? What are you doing?
Maybe I shouldn't push my luck.
I think the trail follows the creek then. You can walk on the creek.
It's not cold.
Hey, you got your wallet in there, hon. This is really the coolest thing.
Let me grab my wallet and cell phone.
I think so.
here, when I walked across the Mississippi, at those little steps that went down and came back up, that was actually not the headwaters. The headwaters, it was probably another 200 feet up, and these are the headwaters over here. But yeah, I guess I can say I've crossed the Mississippi twice now.
Do you get it like to be a turtleback when you do that?
A turtleback. It's a shellback.
Whatever.
Wow, visiting the headwaters of the mighty Mississippi in Itasca State Park, Minnesota. What a really neat experience. If you ever find yourself in north central Minnesota, Karen and I would really recommend taking a detour and heading over to this location. You won't be disappointed at all. Anyways, if you have a question or comment, please leave a message for us. Also, if you're not a subscriber to Blue Line RV Adventures, but you like this video or some of our previous videos, please consider hitting subscribe on YouTube. It doesn't cost you a penny, it's totally free, and it really helps Karen and I continue on with our journey. Okay, we're going to leave you now with a few of our favorite pictures from Itasca State Park and headwaters of the Mississippi, and we'll see you on the road as we continue westward towards Yellowstone National Park.